Welcome back. You're watching Channel 1 Liverpool with me, Rifat Malik. Channel 1 Tobruk. Channel 1 Albert Dock. Time to take a look at the headlines now.
It's 10 to 11, I'm Rifat Malik. 9 o'clock, I'm Rifat Malik.
Christopher Older was found dead. All political campaigning has stopped. Stand head to head with those who feel it's morally indefensible. This is it, folks. My brief 2 weeks of movie show stardom has come to an end. The film director Steven Spielberg to be given an honorary knighthood.
Hello and welcome to the Muslim Viewpoint, a new video podcast series powered by American Muslim Today. Hello and welcome to the Muslim Viewpoint, a new video podcast series powered by American Muslim Today. I'm your host, Rifat Malik, and today we are continuing our Get Out the Vote series, and our guest is Dayna Steele, the Democratic candidate running against the current Republican representative Brian Babin in Texas's District 36, which includes southeast cities near Houston. Dayna is a successful radio show host. She has published 17 books, including on Alzheimer's, a cause which she passionately advocates for. And politically, she ran for Congress previously in 2018. I spoke to her earlier today. So Dayna, welcome to the show. I'd love to hear a little bit more about why you're standing for public office again, and what skills and qualities do you think you're going to offer to your constituents?
The reason I'm doing it again, I ran against him 6 years ago with an incredible group of staff and volunteers and grassroots. And we just worked entirely too hard for me to find out 6 years later he was running unopposed, because people are scared to run as a Democrat in Texas. I'm not scared. I worked too hard 6 years ago. A good majority of these people grew up listening to me on the radio. So, we joke they're not going to shoot me, but it's not really a joke in Texas. So, and what do I bring? I bring a knowledge of the area. I am a native Texan, a native Houstonian, and I have lived in this particular district half of my life. It includes NASA. My husband flew for NASA for 30 years, so I'm very well versed in NASA. I even became an aerospace contractor for a brief time, which is a whole nother podcast. I bring empathy. I bring the morals and values that my parents taught me, and that is you take care of each other and you accept people for who they are and what they are. We have counties that do have Medicare, but they have no OBGYN. We have one of the highest maternal mortality rates in Southeast Texas, but somebody had to do it and nobody was going to step up. So I agreed to put my name on the ballot to at least draw attention to the race. So I am the Democratic nominee for Congress in November. I will give 110%. I will do it to the best of my ability, and I will do what I promise.
You mentioned, some of the issues that I think you mentioned, women's rights, abortions, that debate. So what is your position on that, and what is the position of your opponent?
Well, he's totally against women's reproductive rights. They're looking to take away birth control, IVF, surrogacy. They've already taken away abortion. If you are raped and become pregnant in Texas, it does not matter. You may not abort that baby. And then when that baby is born, your rapist can sue for custody. It's insane. And there was just a story of a man that's gone viral on Twitter yesterday. At the beginning of her second trimester, this woman, there was no heartbeat, and they sent her home, and it almost killed her. The loss of blood trying to pass that fetus. It's terrifying. So yes, I'd have to say that is my number one issue. And my second issue is Social Security and Medicare, probably because I turned 65 in August and I'm looking forward to that free health care. They're messing with that. And my third thing would be the lies. It's just, I was brought up, you do not lie. And I can't lie. I tried a few times when I was a child and I turn red and I shake and it's quite obvious I'm lying. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you, so AMT, our platform, largely serves an American Muslim audience. There is a growing Muslim population in Texas, and your district, obviously near Houston, which I think has one of the largest, if not the largest, Muslim population in Texas, in the state. What are your views on minorities and Muslims?
I have a couple of different stories for you. First of all, my youngest child beginning the sixth grade. His best friends, his three best friends, were all Muslim. So we learned a lot about the families and the religion, and we spent so much time. When I was running for office, I was very proud that I was one of the only candidates and the only woman candidate invited by the imam to get up and speak and walk across the men's side and stand in front of the congregation and speak. I had their full support, which was an honor, having been in that community for 6 years with my son. This country was based on freedom of religion. So you respect my religious choices, I respect your religious choices. But the Muslim community was not only supportive of me 6 years ago, but they truly were friends and family and still are. And when I became a deputy voter registrar, the very first person I registered was my son's best friend, Farzan Ayub. And his whole family was there as I registered him. And I'm so proud of him because to this day, he is a young man who stays involved in politics, which it worries me. A lot of our younger people are not involved. Women need to get involved. Young Muslims need to get involved. Young Christians, young atheists, everybody needs to get involved.
Funny you should mention that, because my next question was about the students and the protests that have been going on. So you're absolutely right that traditionally we've accused this generation of being apathetic, of not being engaged, and yet we have this whole generation of students in particular across campuses, across the nation, but particularly here in Texas. I know at UTD we had a number of students who were arrested for peacefully protesting and trying to set up encampments. And this obviously has happened again across the country. So what is your view on the pro-Palestinian and the pro-Israel demonstrations that have been going on, and the retaliation or the reprisals from law enforcement? And it was a very aggressive and quite frightening situation. So I'm not sure how much you followed all that, but what was your view of that?
Oh, I followed it. My son went to the University of Texas, and I was absolutely disgusted with the police response to that. Let me start by saying the right to protest in this country is a right. So no matter what side the students were on, they had a right to be out there protesting. But you also must follow the laws of this country. We have rule of law. So there were some laws broken. You may protest. You have that right. But you cannot hurt other people. You cannot break laws. I think what was happening at the University of Texas, which is the one I was really following, that the police response was unbelievably over the top. And I'm disgusted by all of it. And I hope that lawsuits and whatever continue. Anytime innocent civilians are killed, it's wrong. It's wrong. Anybody who participates is wrong.
I think what's concerning a lot of Americans, not just our audience, I mean, the people who are, critical of what Israel is doing they're Muslims, they're Christians, they're Jews. A lot of Jewish people are very deeply disturbed by what's going on there. We have a whole movement that they're leading a whole movement, actually.
Yesterday, Donald Trump tweeted a picture, posted whatever it is he does, on Truth Social, posted a picture of a newspaper that what it would look like on the day after he won. But in it, it said a new Reich. That's a Nazi word. He is the single biggest danger to this planet. Somebody said, oh, well, now you're exaggerating. No, I'm not. He tried, banning Muslims from the country. He tried, to round up Muslims. Well, that did not go over well. So now he's attacked Hispanic immigrants who maybe don't have the means or the wherewithal that a lot of Muslim Americans did to fight him. Our Jewish community, our Muslim community, our American community has got to wake up and see what's happening. We are an extremely diverse and amazing country. And this country is amazing, and our economy is good because of our diversity.
But
Sorry.
I just wanted to ask you, Dayna, but what do you say to those people who really are facing a conundrum? They obviously have a lot of hostility towards Donald Trump for his record and his pronouncements, but they're also very, disturbed by President Biden and his role in supporting Israel. In particular, I mean, I'm sure you're aware that the ICC has just put out seeking an arrest warrant for Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu. You know that Israel is being tried for war crimes, for genocide in the International Court. There's been a worldwide condemnation. What do you say to those people who say, well, it's going to be really hard. We do not want to support Trump, but supporting Biden, they are really, really facing a conundrum about who they should support. What is your advice to them in this situation?
If the genocide is bothering you outside of our country, be aware that if you do not reelect Joe Biden, we will have genocide in this country. So you have to choose. I am not privy to American foreign intelligence. I think there's a lot we don't know, and I refuse to be an armchair quarterback. I will go back to my statement that anytime innocent civilians are killed, it's wrong. It's wrong. It doesn't matter whose side it is. It's wrong. And if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you are voting for Donald Trump. And if you vote for Donald Trump, I guarantee you we are going to have genocide in our own country. He is not a friend of Muslims. He is not a friend of Hispanics. He is not a friend of Jews. He is a friend of white supremacists and the wealthiest white supremacists and evangelicals in this country. If you don't vote for Biden, that's what you're voting for. Even if you don't vote, you are voting for Donald Trump.
Okay, thank you, Dayna. I really appreciate you coming on and speaking to us. And I think you've given us a lot to think about. So thank you so much for taking the time.